Alright, 262 spoilers. Let's just cut right to the chase. It's not looking good for YUTA, who we saw hop into Gojo's body in the previous chapter because he is getting seemingly destroyed by Sukuna in this chapter. And not only that, we're also seeing Rika is fully manifesting. Yes, I know that's pretty wild. We were also speculating about that, but this chapter is also very short. It's about half the length of a typical chapter. I think it's about 7 pages, and apparently Gege, the author of this series, Jujutsu Kaisen, is not feeling well or something. I don't know the full details yet, but I don't think it's anything serious, but he's probably fatigued or something, and we're actually going to be going on a 2-week break after this. The next spoilers we'll be getting will be, I think, like the 26th or the 27th of June, depending on your time zone. So just keep that in mind, but it's fine. Much needed break. But anyway, let's get into it. So, chapter begins with Sukuna and Yutaro opening the domains, and Yuta successfully manages to reduce the size of Unlimited Void's barrier to the size of a tiny basketball like GOJO did. The narrator says that the solution GOJO created for Sukuna's open barrier domain is to make a small barrier which can withstand the effect of Malevolent Shrine for approximately 3 minutes. So, wow, that played out exactly how we thought it was going to. We actually talked about this in my previous review because, you know, in the previous chapter we saw immediately Yuta was going right into his domain against Sukuna's domain, and he said that he had learned from Gojo's barrier in order to be able to compete against Sukuna's domain, which is this, shrinking the barrier down to like a basketball size to make it more dense to survive the outward strikes of Malevolent Shrine. But first, guys, have you ever wanted to talk to your favorite anime characters? Well, now you can with Talkie. It's an AI chat box with over 100,000 characters of different personalities and voice tone. You could even make a phone call to your favorite character if you wanted to, or create and build your own at any time. I mean, check it out. I can even talk to GOJO. What is my curse technique?
This is getting irritating. Your curse technique is manipulation. You can make anyone do whatever you want with your charming looks.
Oh, well, thanks, GOJO. Let's try Saitama.
So are you gonna fight me?
No. I haven't removed my limiter. So guys, if you want to have fun like I am, you can download the Talkie app for free by using the link in my description. Thanks, guys. I don't know if it's saying that he's reversing the polarity of the domain, because GOJO actually did that to his own domain. He made the outside stronger while making the inside weaker because, you know, the outside of it would be attacked by Sukuna's open domain. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't, but also Sukuna's Malevolent Shrine still looking very Resident Evil Final Fantasy boss-esque like we saw before when he had activated it. This is kind of like a side effect of his fatigue, and his brain is still damaged from his fight with GOJO and also everyone that he's been fighting up until this point, and all the exhaustion and everything. And even now, his curse technique has just recovered from it being burnt out from using the domain prior to this. So understandable that it's going to look all weird like this still, and despite that and being at this handicap, he's still doing pretty well. Yuta says, taking Sukuna's fatigue into consideration, it's possible for me to withstand his domain for 3 minutes just like GOJO. And the narrator says that Sukuna has reduced his effective curse technique range to just surround Yuta's barrier and eliminated Malevolent Shrine's 99-second time limit. Alright, good old Sukuna using those binding vows again, I suppose. Reducing the effective range, which was huge before. Now it's just surrounding Yuta's domain, and I guess that takes away the time limit that it had. We're also finding out that before the fight, Yuta swapped souls with GOJO to train and improved his barrier technique. So yeah, I guess he did this during the 1 month time skip that we saw before Gojo fought Sukuna. And he was able to do this with Yui's curse technique, where he can not only teleport you, but also like swap souls into different bodies for some reason. And we knew that, you know, of course, Yuji was doing that with Kusakabe, but yeah, Yuta was doing it with Gojo. And it just makes me think again, like, why were they putting so much weight on Gojo dying? It's like a forgotten conclusion at this point. It's like, yeah, we knew you were going to die. And then we just get that added dialogue in the previous chapter where Gojo's like, oh, well, I don't plan on dying, but we'll just, you know, make this big elaborate plan concrete anyway. It's like, it just could have gone down so much better, and they could have just utilized Gojo better and teamwork and all that stuff, but you know, I don't want to beat a dead horse more than I already have. Yuta says, under 3 minutes, I'll damage Sukuna enough to where he can't maintain Malevolent Shrine. And Sukuna says, I'll destroy Infinite Void in under 3 minutes and expand my domain to finally kill everyone. So this is also what Gojo was doing against Sukuna. He was attacking him within the domain so that he couldn't use, you know, like the auto hit attacks or whatever he was trying to do. And if he beat him down enough, the Malevolent Shrine itself would collapse. So they're, you know, gambling right now, even though it seems like Sukuna has way more chips than Yuta does. But we're seeing what Sukuna's ultimate plan is here. Defeat him in under 3 minutes and then expand the barrier, you know, from just surrounding Yuta's domain and just kill everyone with it, which in theory he could do. I mean, he was about to do it. Yuta tries to pull Sukuna using blue, but Sukuna suddenly reduces the distance. Sukuna wraps his amputated arms to hold Yuta and lands a punch on his face. So yeah, Yuta using blue here, the amplified effect of Gojo's Limitless, which is like a suction ability essentially. But Sukuna, you know, countering it, of course. Yuta wonders how did Sukuna manage that attack and realizes that alongside domain expansion, Sukuna simultaneously used domain amplification to penetrate through infinity, which allowed him to land an attack on Yuta. So yeah, good old Sukuna breaking Gege's own rules. We talked about this last year, actually, because this happened when Sukuna was fighting Gojo. Like, he could use domain amplification simultaneously with domain expansion. It even like surprised Gojo. He's like, all right, I guess you could do that. I suppose it's not impossible, but it should be, because you kind of have to give up the use of your curse technique in order to use amplification, but I guess it doesn't matter if you're using the domain expansion. Whatever. This is how he's able to get past infinity, because, you know, the domain amplification just allows you to bypass curse techniques, essentially, at the expense of your own. Sukuna has an evil grin on his face, and he thinks that the sorcerers can't share info about what's happening inside the domain through Mei's crows. The scene switches as we see a fully manifested Rika crying and grieving, calling Yuta's name as she dearly holds his lifeless body. So that's the end of the chapter. And the editor's comment is Rika has fully manifested, but, and that's it. So this is pretty crazy that he's showing this. So this could mean a whole bunch of things. So first of all, it means that Rika is still alive, something that we were, you know, speculating about in the previous chapter. We were like, okay, so now that Yuta has, you know, swapped his brain to Gojo's body, what does that mean for his initial curse technique, which is essentially Rika, right? She is a part of his curse technique. And she's still around, but she's fully manifested now, and she's heartbroken because, you know, Yuta's essentially dead. Well, his original body is, and that's who she loved. I mean, she loved, you know, Akotu too, but, you know, having the body is kind of part of the full package. There's a whole bunch of theories that I want to go into, but, you know, of course, I gotta go way more into that in my full review for this chapter, which should be out tomorrow morning, so subscribe for that. But Rika being fully manifested is pretty crazy because she is insanely powerful. I mean, we saw what she did against Geto, you know, at the end of the Volume 0 manga and movie, and we haven't really seen her go all out yet in this new form, you know, since we've seen her post, what was her reintroduction, chapter 137, I think. So this all has to lead to something big, and I think might lead to Sukuna's downfall, because it would just be pointless to have Yuta inhabit Gojo's body, go through all of this, and then him just to be another fodder for him, you know. So this is going to lead to, I think, the turning point, because also on the cover of this jump, issue. It says that this is the climax of Shinjuku, which is like, you know, the big fight against Sukuna. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, I'll go way more into this chapter in my full review for it. But let me know what you think about Rika's full manifestation in the comments. And if you liked it, please give it a like and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.